This story begins with a sunrise and ends with a sunset. A glorious sunrise greeted me as I arrived at the dock that early spring morning in 1982. Papco 3 was a 41-foot steel tugboat. She was moored at a dock on Annacis Island near New Westminster in the Fraser River and had been there all winter. My husband Art had died in September 1981. I was left with much sorrow. A tugboat that was going deeper into debt each month. I had moorage, insurance, and a loan payment to make each month. There was no income. After an election last November, there was a recession. Work was scarce, especially for a family-operated company. She had to be painted. Winter had been hard on her. Maintenance was important, and without it, she would just rust. And then how would I sell her? The vessel had to be painted. I couldn't afford a shipyard or a crew to do it. So I guess I was it. As I stepped onto the dock, Ole greeted me. He was a tugboat captain who shared the small dock with his vessel, the Service 8. He was a cantankerous old Norwegian who drank too much coffee and smoked too many cigarettes. "What you up to?" he growled. "I'm going to paint the tug," I say. He choked on his coffee, looked at me in astonishment, threw his hands in the air and shouted, "You're crazy. You'll never do it. You just don't paint a tugboat. You have to chip, scrape, clean, prime those rust spots, and then you paint. Painting's the easy part. It's the preparation that's back-breaking. You're not strong enough. It'll take you forever. And besides, it's man's work. Bet you $50 you don't finish by September." "I will so do it, and I'll finish it by September." "Want to put your money where your mouth is?" he growled. "Bet you $50 you don't." "You're on," I replied, and we shook hands on the deal. My arms ached. My hands blistered. I was hot, sweaty, and dirty, covered with rust, dust, and paint chips. Chip, paint, sand, clean, prime, over and over again. My arms became strong. Blisters became calluses. I became quicker and worked longer. Ole would come down to the dock to tease and antagonize me. "Too bad it rained yesterday. Not much progress today. Hot, isn't it? That section needs a little more primer," the old geezer would say. "Go away and leave me alone," I would mutter under my breath. Papco looked awful, white and green with red oxide primer patches all over her. Ole was right. Painting was going to be the easy part. And finally, I was ready to begin. I was standing there admiring how beautiful she was beginning to look when I heard his truck drive up. "I told you you wouldn't be finished before I got back," he grinned, holding out his hand. Hands on my hips, I looked him straight in the eye and said, "Nice try, you old bugger. You're back 3 days early. Now go home and leave me alone for 3 days." There, she was finished. I stood there, admiring and savoring my accomplishment. A feeling of total elation swept through me. "Yes!" I said as I raised my hand in salute. "Good on you, Teresa," I said as I complimented myself. I heard his truck coming down the road. We stood on the dock facing each other. I grinned at him, and he grinned back as he handed me a crisp $50 bill. "Be back in a minute," he chortled. He struggled down with an ice chest and made a second trip for 2 lawn chairs. The ice chest was opened, and out came a lace tablecloth, a bottle of champagne, and 2 wine glasses and a corkscrew. "Sit," he said. Put the lace tablecloth over the ice chest, uncorked the champagne, and poured it into the glasses. "A toast," he said as we clinked glasses, "to a job well done." And then he winked and added, "and finished on time." I felt like a queen as I sat there with him sipping champagne and watching the most beautiful sunset I have ever seen in my life. P.S. I wonder if I would ever have got that tugboat painted without Ole.